U.S. in talks for largest ever sale of arms, fighter jets to Vietnam.
Here's a summary of the article.
The Biden administration is in talks with Vietnam over an agreement for the largest arms transfer in history between the ex-Cold War adversaries, according to two people familiar with a deal that could irk China and sideline Russia. A package, which could come together within the next year, could consummate the newly upgraded partnership between Washington and Hanoi with the sale of a fleet of American F-16 fighter jets as the Southeast Asian nation faces tensions with Beijing in the disputed South China Sea, one of the people said. Part of what we're working on internally as the U.S. government is being creative about how we could try to provide better financing options to Vietnam to get them things that might be really useful to them. A long-simmering territorial dispute between Vietnam and China is heating up in the South China Sea and explains why Vietnam is looking to build up maritime defenses. Since an arms embargo was lifted in 2016, U.S. defense exports to Vietnam have been limited to Coast Guard ships and trainer aircraft, while Russia has supplied about 80% of the country's arsenal. Vietnam spends an estimated $2 billion annually in arms imports, and Washington is optimistic that they can shift a share of that budget over the long term to weapons from the United States or its allies and partners, especially South Korea and India. Vietnam is also actively in talks with Moscow over a new arms supply deal that could trigger U.S. sanctions, Reuters has reported.
This post received a score of 8,800, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Senator during time of war against Vietnamese government authorizes enormous weapons sale to same government 50 years later in his role as president. What a measure of time.
The US funded the Viet Minh during World War II to fight the Japanese. Time is a flat circle.
On another timeline, the U.S. gave Vietnam its independence after WW II instead of handing it back to the French. That avoided 30 years of warfare and saved millions of lives.
The biggest error was the Allies tasking the Republic of China with securing North Vietnam after the Japanese surrender. The optics of assigning China to occupy any part of Vietnam were absolutely horrible. The UK was tasked with occupying South Vietnam. It's also important to remember that Vietnam was just one of many countries that went through catastrophic post-colonial revolts and civil wars.
How people make history classes boring blows my mind. The shit is as salacious as any prime-time drama or big-budget anime.
They focus on distinct dates in history, regurgitating rote knowledge about some event, but not why it happened. The why and how are so much more fascinating.
Because doing that encourages critical thinking skills and understanding of nuance.
They're thinking of sending the F-16 according to the article. Definitely not a bad choice for Vietnam.
Maybe some F-4S.
This U.S. Coast Guard cutter fought in Vietnam and was eventually transferred to the Vietnam Coast Guard in 2017.
You gave us 4, let us return the favor?
Worth it.
Britain and America fought the American Revolutionary War and the War of 1812. Later both recognized they had more in common than other opponents. America and Vietnam are in same situation.
The average American has about as much hatred that the average Vietnamese has towards America per nanosecond. I personally know at least a handful of Vietnamese people in my community and they're all model citizens. Sure, some of them don't learn English, but who the fuck cares other than assholes? The American dream is making something from nothing and not caring what others think so long as you don't harm anyone else, and to me, that means they're better Americans than half the people I know. Lol.
Greater than the average Vietnamese has towards America. Honestly, I think that the Vietnamese would very much have just cause to have hate towards the US just on the fact that all the birth defects and suffering that is still going on due to our use of Agent Orange there.
When I went to Vietnam, I met a dude who had an all-white Honda Civic that was his pride and joy. It was covered in Presidential Seal of America stickers, and the interior was custom-made red, white and blue leather in the form of the stars and stripes with matching leather throw cushions. My uncle has a framed photo of him and Clinton as he supplied Clinton's suit when Clinton came to Hanoi. I don't think a lot of Vietnamese hold a grudge against us, but they really became rabid fans once Clinton opened things up for them and brought them back to the economic world stage.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.